The road to Pine Hollow twisted like a scar through the mountains, and Eli Turner drove it in silence. 3 years had passed since he'd last seen these trees, their shadows stretching like fingers across the cracked asphalt. The air was thinner here, cold, distant, just like the place he'd left behind. His old truck rattled as if protesting his return. He slowed as the first glimpse of his cabin came into view, half hidden by tall pines and creeping vines. For a heartbeat, it almost looked untouched, until the sun caught something white nailed to the fence. Eli stepped out, gravel crunching beneath his boots. A no trespassing sign, new and deliberate, stared back at him. Then another. And another, strung along the property line like a warning to ghosts. He ran a hand along the wooden post, paint still tacky beneath his fingers. "This isn't right," he murmured. From the road below, the distant hum of an SUV broke the stillness. A silver car idled there, clean, modern, out of place. Behind the windshield, he caught a glimpse of Margaret Hale, the HOA president, if he remembered correctly, watching him. Even from afar, her presence felt invasive, as if she'd been waiting for this exact moment. When he looked again, the car was gone. Inside, the cabin smelled of dust and time. His breath echoed in the hollow space where laughter once lived. 3 years hadn't dulled the memory of what drove him away, only buried it. Outside, wind stirred the signs, their edges fluttering like whispers. Eli turned toward the fading road. Somewhere down there, Margaret Hale was waiting. And she knew more about his disappearance than anyone else ever had. The next morning, fog rolled through Pine Hollow like smoke, softening the world into gray. Eli parked outside Margaret Hale's house, a 2-story colonial with trimmed hedges, polished brass fixtures, and a garden so precise it looked afraid to grow wild. The HOA office occupied her front parlor now. He could see the framed certificates glowing behind the window like trophies. Margaret opened the door before he knocked. "Eli Turner," she said, voice bright but brittle. "You came back." "I did," he replied, forcing calm. "But it seems I'm trespassing on my own land." She smiled tightly. "The HOA had to act, Eli. You left. 3 years of vacancy. We had to maintain order." "By stealing it." His tone sharpened. "You knew I'd come back." Her gaze flickered. "We all thought you were gone for good. After everything." The pause between words carried weight, a shared silence neither dared name. Eli studied her, immaculate hair, perfume that smelled faintly of lilac and disinfectant. The same scent that once lingered on his porch after she'd stopped by with soup, back when he still believed kindness came without motive. "You put those signs up yourself?" he asked. Margaret's hands tightened around her clipboard. "We did what was necessary. The community has standards." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You mean your standards?" For a moment, her mask slipped. "You think you're the only one who lost something here," she whispered. The words froze him. Margaret's eyes shone, half fury, half something else. He turned away before he could answer. The air outside felt cleaner, colder. Behind him, Margaret called softly, almost tenderly, "Be careful digging up the past, Eli. Some things are better left buried." Her voice followed him down the path, thin as smoke, leading him straight toward the secrets waiting in the county office. The county office smelled of old paper and coffee gone stale. Eli stood at the counter, deed folder in hand, while the clerk scrolled through her computer with trembling fingers. Outside, rain streaked the glass like thin veins. "I'm not seeing your file," she murmured, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Maybe it's archived off-site?" "Maybe," Eli said, though he could see her pulse flickering at her neck. "Or maybe someone made it disappear." She didn't answer, only reached for the phone, her hand shaking slightly. He caught the nameplate on her desk, Dina Ross. The same Dina who used to hand out HOA newsletters every spring, cheerful and precise. Now she looked pale, like someone who'd stopped sleeping months ago. When he turned to leave, she called after him quietly. "Mr. Turner, wait." Out by the side door, sheltered beneath the overhang, she slipped him a small flash drive wrapped in tissue. "I shouldn't be doing this," she whispered. "She made us delete everything, the minutes, the ownership records, the complaints. But I saved copies. I knew this day would come." Eli studied her face, The fear there was real. Why help me? Her eyes darted to the parking lot. Because she ruined my life too. The drive home was a blur of fog and headlights. Eli plugged the flash drive into his phone, scrolling through files, scanned documents, deleted messages, and finally, a grainy video labeled Cabin Footage 2022. He pressed play. Margaret Hale appeared on screen, flashlight cutting through darkness, shovel in hand. She was in his yard, digging, burying something beneath the pines. Eli's breath caught. The wipers beat faster, drowning the sound of his heart. Ahead, the cabin lights flickered through the mist, waiting for him, and for the truth clawing its way up from the ground. The rain hadn't stopped by morning. It fell in thin, relentless sheets, drumming on the porch as Eli replayed the footage again. Margaret's silhouette, shovel flashing under the porch light. Every second carved deeper into his mind. When the sky began to pale, he took the shovel from the shed and walked toward the trees. Behind the cabin, the pines loomed like sentinels. Their roots coiled above the ground, slick with mud. Eli dug where the video showed her standing, the soil heavy and cold. The deeper he went, the stronger the smell of damp earth and metal became. Then, with a dull clang, the shovel struck something solid. A rusted lockbox. Small, corroded, sealed tight. He pried it open with trembling hands. Inside, a bundle of envelopes, yellowed and water-stained. His handwriting. The letters were all to Anna. He remembered writing them after her disappearance, his way of clinging to her when the police stopped looking. They should have been inside the cabin, in a drawer he'd locked before leaving. But here they were, buried like contraband. Margaret had taken them. Every word, every confession, stolen and hidden beneath his own land. Eli's vision swam. The rain blurred everything, the pines, the sky, even his breath. When night fell, a knock echoed through the cabin. 3 sharp raps. He opened the door to find Margaret, soaked and trembling, eyes wild. "You shouldn't have come back," she said. Her voice cracked like ice breaking. Eli stepped closer, the open lockbox still on the table behind him. "What did you do, Margaret?" She looked past him into the room, at the box, at the letters, and whispered, "Everything I had to." Lightning flashed, bleaching her face white. And for the first time, Eli saw fear, not in her, but reflected in himself. By morning, the forest pulsed with blue and red light. Police cruisers idled along the dirt road, tires sinking into the mud. Eli stood beside them, coat damp, eyes fixed on the cabin, his cabin, while officers combed through Margaret's property across the ridge. The air smelled of rain and pine, sharp and clean, but beneath it lingered something burnt. Dina's trembling voice played over the radio, her statement looping through the static. The flash drive, the deleted files, the video of Margaret digging beneath the trees, all of it now in the sheriff's hands. Truth laid bare, undeniable. When the first plume of smoke rose from the valley, Eli already knew. Margaret's house. Flames tore through the roof like something alive, devouring everything she'd built, every paper, every secret, every lie. A single silhouette moved inside before vanishing behind the blaze. "She lit it herself," an officer muttered. Eli didn't answer. He couldn't. The fire roared like the forest was exhaling, years of silence breaking in one violent breath. He stepped closer, heat washing over him, eyes stinging. Margaret had wanted control over everything, even the end. And now she'd taken that too. Snow began to fall as the fire ate itself out, soft flakes hissing against the embers. The cabin lights flickered through the smoke, faint but steady. He walked back toward it slowly, each step heavier than the last. Inside, the box of letters sat on the table, unopened this time. He didn't need to read them. The past had spoken enough. Outside, ash drifted through the pines like gray confetti. The land was his again, quiet, empty, and unbearably his.